Action steps to get going is this: seizing opportunities in distressed markets. Markets don't start off bad. They are always in transition. Commercial very rarely takes a dip. And because commercial is usually stable, it's going to go up stronger and harder than residential could ever dream of. And you guys are in the right place. So the recession equals opportunity. This is disposable personal income, DPI. You can see the source, see the graph, and you can see right here. This is being reflected in less people going to restaurants. And this is the other NRA, National Restaurant Association. Announced another month of contraction for the industry. What does this mean? Less demand for commercial space. Report they also stated that current restaurant owners are noticing negative customer traffic in June. So in other words, don't own any restaurants. In other words, I'm not excited about shopping centers. That's why I'm not excited about office retail. That's why I'm not excited about industrial. You know what I'm excited about? All my recession-proof properties. You lose your home, you go into an apartment. You got stuff, you got more stuff, put it into self-storage. Can't afford apartments, you end up in mobile home parks. People are older, they get government assistance, they go into assisted living or senior living facilities. The dynamics of recession-proof properties, regardless of what happens with the economy, there's always going to be a need. There's always going to be a want. And if you guys follow that, question is, like I said before, the book. Are you dumb enough to be rich? Can you follow it? But you got to know your criteria. So, what is your criteria? That's the question. What's your criteria? What are you going to get out there and look for? This is finding. Need to brief you on this before we move forward. Website or not. Credibility. And of course, that's the Platinum Commercial team, which we're going to talk about. But first, land. Land. A lot of you, who here likes land? Raise your hand. Yeah? You know, land is one of those sexy things. Number one, they're not making any more of it. That's a joke. And also, we want to be able to acquire it dirt cheap. No pun intended. But we do prefer raw, unentitled, unplanted land that can be rezoned for commercial or mixed-use development. Again, buy it by the quart, sell it by the shot. We want to buy it as raw as possible. You understand that when somebody's selling it and it's already commercial, they already sucked the life out of the thing. They've already maximized the value. Now what's left? What's left after you get the plans approved? What's left? I'll tell you. You could either do a tract split and you could sell paper, which is fine. Okay? Or you put in the infrastructure, that means streets, curbs, gutter, water, sewer, all that, utilities, which is very expensive. And then it increases the value. And then you do actual vertical. This is horizontal infrastructure and then vertical development. That's building. My eyes, I don't like horizontal, I don't like vertical. I like to buy it raw. I like to do the paper process, make the most amount of money, and that's the way I like to move forward. We typically do not seek residential-only parcels, generally not purchased and generally do not purchase finished, developed, ready-to-build land. Yeah, again, I just explained it to you. The value sucked out. Income property. Seek any type income property and prefer properties with value added and significant upside potential. And of course, you know the rule of recession-proof, which I just covered. Location is important because we don't want to go out into war zones. Instead, what we do want to do is seek properties anywhere from downtown to the edge of progress. We want to be right outside the big cities, in the path of progress, where everything is still happening, and more is going to happen. All right? Where they're doing revitalizations, like out in Fort Worth. Outside of Fort Worth is a very fabulous area because they did like $1 billion revitalization down there, and they allocated all this money to fix up downtown Fort Worth, and what's happening all on the outskirts of that is a wealth explosion. We prefer properties with interstate or road frontage, especially when it comes to land. All right? That's very, very important. Road frontage is key. Avoid areas where local governments resist development or where projects approval process is particularly burdensome, unless you can side with that, right? I mean, you know that if they don't want you there, we don't go there. Again, deal with motivated people. It's no different when you're looking into government resistance. Look, it's very easy. You call down the local municipality, the local government, the city of Commerce, and you say, look, we're looking to do a little bit of development down there. Who do we talk to? Oh, you need to talk to Joanne. Okay, get Joanne on the phone. Joanne, hi. We're looking to do some development. We're from XYZ company. You guys, are you pro-growth? Would you like to see this happening in your area? No. We actually lobby against development. We don't want you there. Okay, bye, Joanne. Get off the phone. Move on to another deal. Or she says, yes, of course. And not only that, we hold special meetings just for you. And we're going to have coffee and cake, and we're going to have a lot of fun and get all your plans approved right then and there. Those are the type of places that you want to go down where they do special meetings. Why? Because they want the development, because they want the money back on their tax record. Understand? And a lot of local areas, you can assess the local attitude very quickly. Markets. Most markets currently qualify, absolutely, but the local economy, commercial real estate market conditions, they must be stable or improving. So in other words, we don't want to go to places that are not improving. We want to go to places that are improving or appreciating. All right. Size. Commercial land, the size of residential component or mixed-use tract will vary case by case. We will look at anything up to 1,000. If it's over 1,000 acres, obviously that's not going to be too appealing, and the reason being is after 1,000 acres of development, you're responsible for putting in all the municipality, meaning bringing in police, bringing in fire, bringing in schools, all that. So make sure that you, at least at the minimum, if it's larger than 1,000 acres, which I hope you guys are looking for the low-hanging fruit, not over 1,000 acres. But if you do run across something free and clear that's really sweet, make sure that we can buy it and chunk it up, meaning we can buy 200 acres at a time, and that's the way we get around that. Income property, small to mid-sized buildings. Again, we're not looking at huge glass towers unless you're in a unique situation and we can pick that thing up for literally pennies on the dollar. We seek properties in the $1 million to $20 million range. I have a lender at this time looking for property that meets a criteria of $5 million to $10 million, and they want property in Florida. That's what they're looking for. And they're willing to go ahead and lend up to 85% and allowing us to go ahead and also put in 5% for seller financing. So at the end of the day, if we get relief from the seller financing at 5% and 85% that comes from the lender, that's 90% financing. So on a $5 million property, you have 90% financing. How much skin do you need to put in the game? $500,000 to acquire a $5 million property. So that's why when people say to me, well, I'm going to go ahead and buy this property, this residential property, like the woman I had mentioned before at an event that I was at, and she bought it for $250,000, pretty much all cash, it boggles my mind, okay? But we seek property in the $1 million to $20 million price range. Due to current market conditions and continuing trend of tightening capital financing and credit standards, our aversion to risk, we only offer full retail value in extraordinary circumstances. Yeah, like joint venture, when we're not coming out of pocket. That's when we pay retail. And you know what? They have to wait for the money, and that's the way it works.